Today, we embark on a tale that resonates through millennia about a visionary, a unifier, and a tyrant. A man whose ambition molded China into a unified empire and whose legacy is both celebrated and criticized. Dive with us into the world of Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of China, as we uncover the myths, the legends, and the truths of his epic story. Born on January 27 in 259 BCE, Qin Shi Huang's birthplace is believed to be in the vicinity of modern-day Zhujia Alley, located to the southeast of Songtai, in the eastern side of Middle Street in the ancient city of Handan. Fascinatingly, Qin Shi Huang hailed from a long lineage, being the 35th generation descendant of a significant minister from the Shang Dynasty, named Ying Zheng. His family name was Ying, and he was born into the Zhao clan, with the given name Zheng. At the tender age of 13, in 247 BCE, the world of politics beckoned young Zheng. Following the demise of his father, King Zhuangxiang of Qin, he was enthroned as the King of Qin. The initial years of his reign were heavily influenced by the Prime Minister Lv Buwei, who held immense power and even earned himself the title of Wen Xin Ho, representing a noble rank with a dominion of 100,000 households. Due to Qin Shi Huang's young age upon ascending to the throne, Lv Buwei practically monopolized the political scene, holding a substantial sway over the young king and being revered as a fatherly figure. However, as the pages of history turned to 239 BCE and Qin Shi Huang reached the age of 21, the desire to personally govern the state grew stronger in him. But, as is often the case in corridors of power, his intent sparked intense political conflicts within the Qin court. As Qin Shi Huang was growing into his role, the court's undercurrents were churning with intrigue and power plays. Prime Minister Lv Buwei, who held significant sway in the Qin court, was not just involved in political maneuvers but also in clandestine affairs. He shared a secret romantic relationship with the Dowager Queen, Zhaoji. As time progressed, Lv Buwei, fearing that the maturing King Zheng would discover their secret, sought to distance himself from the Dowager Queen. Yet, fearing potential resentment from her, he devised a cunning plan. In a move of utmost deception, Lv Buwei presented one of his close confidants, Lao Ai, disguised as a eunuch to the Dowager Queen. This eunuch was no ordinary man. Lao Ai, after a simulated punishment which only involved the removal of his facial hair, became the Dowager Queen's new intimate companion. The ruse went even deeper. To further ensure their secrecy, they misled Qin Shi Huang into believing that the geomancy or feng shui of the Dowager Queen's residence was unfavorable. Trusting their word, the young king relocated them to a palace in Yang County. This relocation not only shielded their illicit relationship but also bore fruit, quite literally. The Dowager Queen gave birth to two illegitimate sons in this palace. Lao Ai, donning the facade of a eunuch, audaciously took on the role of the king's pseudo-father. With the backing of the Dowager Queen, he was ennobled as Marquis of Changxin and given control over territories like Shanyang and Taiyuan. Over the years, Lao Ai established a significant power base in Yang City, rivaling the influence of even the mighty Lv Buwei. It became the second most potent political force in the Qin realm. Arrogance, it's said, often precedes a fall. Lao Ai's rapidly rising power and prestige inevitably led to bouts of overconfidence. Once, after having one too many drinks, Lao Ai boldly rebuked a minister, claiming, "I am the pseudo-father of the King of Qin. How dare you cross me?" This incident didn't sit well with the minister, who, at the right opportunity, spilled the beans to Qin Shi Huang about the intimate relationship between Lao Ai and the Dowager Queen. Upon hearing this revelation, the fury of the young emperor knew no bounds. Sensing imminent danger, Lao Ai, in desperation, plotted a rebellion. In 238 BCE, as Qin Shi Huang celebrated his coming-of-age ceremony in the Qinyuan Palace in Yang City, Lao Ai seized the royal and the dowager seals and launched an assault against the palace. However, he had underestimated Qin Shi Huang. The emperor had already stationed 3,000 elite soldiers within the palace, who swiftly crushed the insurgents. Lao Ai then attempted to storm the Xianyang Palace, but to no avail. Forces were already lying in wait. A hasty retreat followed, but not for long. Lao Ai was soon captured. The punishment was severe and meant to send a message. Lao Ai was executed in a manner known as drawn and quartered, with his remains displayed as a grim warning to all. The Dowager Queen Zhaoji was confined to the Luoyang Palace in Yang City, and in a heartbreaking twist, the two sons she bore with Lao Ai were tragically executed. The aftermath saw further purges. The following year, LV Bue was relieved of his position as prime minister and exiled to Bashu. Recognizing the impossibility of reconciling with the emperor, a despairing LV Bue ended his own life by consuming poison. While it seemed that Qin Shi Huang might distance himself from foreign influences by issuing the Edict of the Expulsion of Guest Officials, he was persuaded otherwise by Li Si's remonstrance against the expulsion of guests. As time progressed, Qin Shi Huang placed his trust in notable figures like Wei Liao and, of course, the influential Li Si. Unify 6 countries. With his authority firmly established, Qin Shi Huang took decisive steps towards consolidating the vast Chinese territories. He surrounded himself with visionary advisors, particularly Wei Liao and Li Si, who were instrumental in shaping the Qin's expansionist strategy. In 236 BCE, tensions erupted between the states of Zhao and Yin. While Zhao moved to attack Yin, Qin seized this opportunity. Under the guise of aiding Yin, Qin dispatched General Wang Jian and his forces to launch pincer attacks on Zhao. This tactical move led to the capture of Qizhou territories, Inyu, Laoyang, located northwest of present-day Nanyang in Hunan, Hejian, southeast of the modern-day Xian County in Hebei, and Anyang in southeastern Yangyuan County, Hebei. With these conquests, the region around the Zhang River came under Qin's control. By 234 BCE, the Qin momentum was unstoppable. Launching another major offensive against Zhao, they utilized the newly acquired lands to establish the Yanmen and Yunzheng commanderies, further cementing their dominance in the region. The year 231 BCE saw the neighboring states of Wei and Han realizing the might of Qin. Wei reluctantly ceded territories, while the state of Han was compelled to surrender the valuable region of Nanyang. In the year 230 BCE, the Qin dynasty's aggressive expansion continued under the strategic leadership of Nei Shirting. He was sent to attack the state of Han, resulting in the capture of Kingdom of Han. With the Han territories under Qin control, they established the Yingzheng commandery, effectively marking the end of the Han state. But the tide of conquest didn't stop there. During this period, Zhao faced severe droughts, a sign of the times, but also an opportunity for the Qin. General Wang Jian led a direct assault on Jingxing, west of the current Jingxing County in Hebei, while another Qin general, Yang Duanhe, and his troops laid siege to the Zhao capital, Handan. Zhao's defense was initially led by the competent generals Li Mu and Sima Shang. However, due to the treachery of Guo Kai, a courtier in Zhao who was bribed by Qin, false rumors about a rebellion plotted by Li Mu and Sima Shang spread. As a result, King of Zhao replaced them with Zhao Cong and Yin Zhu, even going to the extent of executing Li Mu. 229 BCE saw the might of the Qin army in full display. Wang Jian decisively defeated the Zhao forces, capturing their king. The royal lineage of Zhao wasn't entirely extinguished, as Prince Jia and his family fled to the Dai region, where he declared himself the king of Dai. Meanwhile, Qin went on to establish the Handan Commandery in the captured territories. In 227 BCE, Qin's gaze turned towards the state of Yin. Generals Wang Jian and Xin Sheng launched an offensive. Yin, along with the newly established Dai, resisted but were overwhelmed by the Qin, suffering a defeat west of the Yi River. The next year saw the fall of Yan's capital, Jiqing. King Shi of Yin, in desperation and on the advice of King Jia of Dai, made a drastic decision. He executed his own son, Prince Dan, and sent his head to Qin as a peace offering. But the saga doesn't end there. In 226 BCE, uprisings broke out in the capital of Han. Swiftly, Qin forces quelled the rebellion and seized the moment to execute King of Han. In 225 BCE, Qin's ambitious expansion marched on, under the watchful eyes of Emperor Qin Shi Huang. General Wang Bin was assigned a crucial mission, the conquest of Wei. Setting his sights on Wei's capital, Daliang, located in present-day Kaifeng, Hunan, Wang Bin employed a rather unconventional siege tactic. By diverting the waters of the mighty Yellow River, he flooded Daliang. Within 3 months, the defenses of Daliang succumbed, and the king of Wei had no choice but to surrender. Thus, the state of Wei was annexed. The eastern parts of the conquered Wei territories were restructured into the Dang Commandery by Qin. But that year had more in store. Generals Li Xian and Ming Wu, leading an impressive force of 200,000 soldiers, were dispatched to the south against Chu. While Li Xian laid siege to Pingyu and Hunan, Ming Wu focused on Qin and Anhui. Both secured initial victories. However, when Qin and Chu forces clashed at Qingfu, located southeast of modern-day Boizhou and Anhui, the tables turned. The Chu forces, seizing an opportunity, launched a surprise counterattack, handing the Qin army a shocking defeat. But Qin Shi Huang wouldn't be deterred. He sent General Wang Jian, this time leading a staggering force of 600,000, to deal with Chu. Wang Jian's strategy and might led to a decisive victory over Chu at Qi, present-day Su County in Anhui. This victory was so overwhelming that Chu's general Xiang Yin took his own life. The unstoppable Qin forces then stormed the Chu capital, Shouchuan, capturing King Fuchu of Chu. And as with their other conquests, Qin established the Nine Rivers Commandery in Anhui and the Changsha Commandery in Hunan on Chu's territory. 222 BCE marked another pivotal year in the relentless Qin conquest. General Wang Jian marched southward, bringing the vast territories of Chu's Jiangnan under Qin's domain. The ruler of Yu surrendered, and Huiji Commandery was established, signaling the end of the mighty Chu state. As the Qin dynasty expanded eastward, they successively set up commanderies and annexed Qi territories, leading to the establishment of Shui Commandery, located in modern-day Tufu County, Shandong. That same year, Emperor Qin Shi Huang dispatched General Wang Bin on a mission to conquer the northern reaches of Yin and Liaodong. With the capture of Yan's kingship, Yin fell. But Wang Bin's conquest was far from over. He then set his sights on Dai, capturing Dai's king Jia and establishing the Dai Commandery in modern-day Yu County, Hebei, and the Liaodong Commandery in the ancient city area of Liaoyang, Liaoning. Fast forward to 221 BCE, Wang Bin's military prowess was once again put to test as he moved south from Yin to take on Qi. Qi's last bastion of hope, King Jian, was captured, sealing the fate of Qi. With its conquest, the Qi Commandery and Langya Commandery were established in modern-day Zibo, Shandong, and Xiahe City, Jianan, Shandong respectively. From 230 BCE, when the Qin series of conquests began, to the end of the warring states with the annexation of Qi in 221 BCE, a span of a mere 10 years saw the Qin dynasty eliminate 6 major states. They set up commanderies and counties in these captured regions, all directly reporting to the Emperor of Qin. The age of kingdoms ruled by noble lords was over, giving way to the era of imperial rule, a centralized monarchy. The relentless pursuit of a united China by the Qin was truly a sight to behold. Create an imperial system. In the 26th year of King Zheng's rule, in 221 BC, he accomplished what seemed impossible. He unified the fragmented states of China, defeating the 6 other major kingdoms. However, he believed that merely being called a king wasn't befitting for someone who achieved such a monumental task. Hence, he assumed the grand title of emperor, becoming the first emperor of China, and thus, he's commonly known as Qin Shi Huang. In the 26th year of King Zheng's rule, in 221 BC, he accomplished what seemed impossible. He unified the fragmented states of China, defeating the 6 other major kingdoms. However, he believed that merely being called a king wasn't befitting for someone who achieved such a monumental task. Hence, he assumed the grand title of emperor, becoming the first emperor of China, and thus, he's commonly known as Qin Shi Huang. The reign of Qin Shi Huang was a continuation of the reforms initiated by Shang Yang under Duke Xiao, characterized by the principles of legalism. These policies aimed at consolidating imperial power and weakening the traditional aristocracy. Instead, the emperor favored and promoted new elites, those who rose to prominence due to their military achievements. Let's talk about land ownership during the Qin dynasty. Essentially, the land system echoed that of the Western Zhou period, which followed the principle of Wang Yu, meaning the land belongs to the king. However, Qin Shi Huang introduced a twist. He transformed this principle from Wang Yu to Guo Yu, effectively shifting the land ownership from being the king's personal property to becoming state-owned. In a strategic move in 216 BC, Qin Shi Huang ordered farmers across the nation to report the actual size of the lands they occupied. This was to streamline the taxation system. And in another groundbreaking move, he declared that even commoners, if they had made significant contributions in battle, could be granted land and noble titles. Interestingly, while the land reforms initiated by Shang Yang during the Qin dynasty originally recognized lands as state-owned with individual farmers tending them, this system paved the way for something more revolutionary. Over time, it evolved to a point where common people effectively had possession of what was previously royal land. This transformation gave birth to a burgeoning system where both civilians and officials could freely buy and sell land. In essence, the reforms of Shang Yang inadvertently catalyzed the progression and spread of private land ownership. Upon abolishing the feudal system, which was based on hereditary land grants, Qin Shi Huang introduced a more centralized administrative system known as the Junxian system. Initially, the entire vast territory of the Qin Empire was divided into 36 administrative units or jun. As the empire expanded, this number grew to 46. The city of Xianyang, located in present-day Shaanxi province, was designated as the capital. At the helm of the central government were 3 major officials: the chancellor, the imperial secretary, and the commander-in-chief, collectively referred to as the 3 excellencies. At the regional level, each jun was overseen by an official known as the shou, and each county within the jun was administered by the ling. This system effectively dismantled the age-old clan-based structures, replacing them with a meritocratic bureaucracy. Hereditary privileges of the aristocracy were replaced by official ranks and titles based on merit and service to the state. To further fortify his rule and foster a unified nation, Qin Shi Huang undertook several monumental policies. 1. Standardization. The Qin dynasty introduced a standardized currency system, measurement units, and script, facilitating smoother communication and trade. 2. Infrastructure. Monumental projects such as the construction of the Great Wall and the establishment of direct roadways, also known as Jidao, were undertaken. 3. Forced migrations. To neutralize potential threats, aristocrats and civilians from the conquered states were forcibly relocated. The aristocrats were often moved to the capital, Xianyang, assigned to guard the royal mausoleums, while some were dispatched to remote southwestern regions. Commoners, referred to as Qianlu, were often compelled into hard labor, engaging in mining activities or salt production. In 215 BC, under the leadership of General Meng Tian, the Qin forces captured regions south of Jiuyuan River, establishing 34 new counties and laying the foundation for Jiuyuan Jun. With its administrative center located in what is now the northwest of Baotou City in Inner Mongolia. Before he ascended to the throne as emperor, Qin saw an influx of legalist scholars, particularly from eastern states such as Jin. These scholars were known for their practical and sometimes stringent approaches to governance. Interestingly, Qin Shi Huang once issued the infamous expulsion order, which sought to drive out scholars and dignitaries from the 6 conquered states residing in Qin. It was only in 239 BC, after a persuasive letter from Li Si, his trusted advisor, that the emperor reconsidered and revoked this order. Post the unification, a multitude of scholars and talents from different schools of thought, some of whom had previously opposed Xiangyang's reforms, flocked to serve in the Qin Empire. This amalgamation of diverse philosophies might have given rise to what can be termed as the Qin-specific adaptation of Xiangyang's reforms, leading to various superstitions gaining prominence in the empire. Particularly influential were the Huang Lao Taoists in the Yinyang school. These scholars combined teachings from Confucian, legalist, and Taoist traditions. They introduced the theory of 5 elemental phases, which resonated deeply with Emperor Qin Shi Huang. He came to believe that the Qin dynasty was associated with the element of water virtue, and the preceding Zhou dynasty with fire virtue. Water, as we know, can overcome fire, reinforcing his belief that the rise of the Qin Empire was preordained by cosmic forces. Another intriguing facet is how scholars from Qi and Yin, who were rooted in Confucian teachings, adapted the traditional Fengshan rituals. This ancient rite, often linked to emperors, underwent significant modifications, making it a symbolic act of legitimizing and celebrating the emperor's divine right to rule. Parade to seek immortality. Ancient Chinese folklore speaks of 3 mythical islands, Palai, Fangzhong, and Yingzhou, believed to be the dwelling places of immortals. According to legends, these enchanted islands housed the elixir of immortality, a potion that would grant eternal life to its consumer. Intrigued by these tales, Qin Shi Huang became deeply infatuated with the idea of becoming immortal. In the 28th year of his reign, a man from Qin named Su Fu presented tales of these celestial islands to the emperor. Entranced by the prospects of acquiring the elixir of immortality, Qin Shi Huang dispatched Su Fu with thousands of young men and women on a grand voyage, tasking them to sail into the vast ocean in search of these islands and the immortal beings residing there. Between the 28th and 31st years of his reign, spanning from 219 to 215 BC, the emperor embarked on extensive tours to the eastern coastlines, the Jianghuai River Basin, and even to the northern frontiers of his empire. These journeys were not just about exploration, they were statements of his might and grandeur. Throughout his travels, Qin Shi Huang left his mark quite literally. Wherever he went, stone inscriptions were carved, praising and immortalizing his achievements and virtues. In the 32nd year of his reign, Emperor Qin Shi Huang's obsession with immortality only deepened. He dispatched emissaries like Yan's Lu Sheng to find the trails of mystical immortals like Xian Min and Gao Shi. Han Tong, Ho Gong, and Shi Shang soon followed, all on the same mission, to unearth the elixir of immortality. But not everyone was on board with the emperor's obsession. Confucian scholars, ever the voice of tradition and reason, spoke up. One notable scholar, Chunyu from Qi, proposed that the emperor reinstate the age-old policy of granting fiefdoms to his kin. This proposal was not taken lightly and was thrown open for debate among the Imperial Council. Prime Minister Li Si, a formidable voice, vehemently opposed. Li Si's influence was palpable. In an event that would send ripples through Chinese history, he persuaded the emperor to enact the infamous burning of books and burying of scholars. The decree commanded that any historical text not from Qin's official annals be incinerated. Anyone hiding classics or philosophical texts faced severe repercussions. The only exemptions? Books on medicine, divination, and agriculture. Amidst this turmoil, Su Fu's sea voyage, a quest for immortality, turned out to be an exorbitant venture with no rewards. Feeling deceived, the emperor's wrath knew no bounds. Officials were tasked with interrogating scholars, leading to mutual accusations and the implication of over 460 individuals. The emperor's chilling decision? Bury them alive in Xianyang. This dark episode is notoriously known as the burying of scholars. While some argue that those executed were sorcerers and not Confucian scholars, the records in the Grand Historian's records suggest that those buried were indeed adherents of Confucius' teachings. 7 years after Qin Shi Huang unified China, he embarked on constructing the Ahang Palace on the southern banks of the Wei River. The statistics are simply staggering. Over 700,000 laborers were conscripted annually to build it, which is notable when you consider that the entire population of China at the time was just around 20 million. Designed to be grand and imposing, the palace could accommodate 100,000 people. Food and wine had to be transported using carts and horses, such was its magnitude. The front hall itself was a marvel, spanning 693 meters from east to west, 116 meters from north to south, and its platform soared to a height of 11.65 meters. This massive space could seat tens of thousands. However, here's where the mystery deepens. Recent archaeological studies by the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences and Xi'an City's Institute of Cultural Heritage Protection have discovered that the Ahang Palace might never have been completed. The investigation suggests that only the foundation was laid, and the Grand Palace Qin Shi Huang had envisioned never truly took shape. Jiabing Dun. In the 37th year of the reign of Qin Shi Huang, in 210 BCE, a pivotal moment shook the foundations of the Qin dynasty. While on his fifth tour to the east, Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of China, took his last breath at the Sand Dune Palace, now located in modern-day Guangzhou, Hebei. The historical records, as mentioned in the annals of Qin Shi Huang in the records of the Grand Historian, mark this event, stating, "In the 7th month on the day of Bingyin, the first emperor passed away at the Sand Dune platform." The death of such a monumental figure left a vacuum of power and the stage set for intrigues. Here's where the plot thickens. Zhao Gao, a key figure within the Qin court, using a mix of persuasion and threats, conspired with Li Si at the very Sand Dune Palace. They cunningly forged a royal decree, proclaiming Hu Hai, the emperor's son, as the rightful heir to the throne. In this deceptive move, they even denounced Fusu, another of the emperor's sons, and the loyal general Meng Tian, accusing them of treachery and commanded them to take their own lives. Only upon confirmation of Fusu's tragic end did the group, now led by Hu Hai, Zhao Gao, and Li Si, hurry back to the capital, Xianyang. But they couldn't return directly. To continue their ruse and to perhaps give the impression that the emperor was still alive and continuing his tour, they took a detour, carefully making their way back. However, they faced a morbid problem. Due to the summer heat, the deceased emperor's body began to decay, giving off an unbearable stench. Ingeniously, or perhaps morbidly, to divert attention from this smell, they filled their entourage with carts of pungent salted fish, masking the odor of decay and thereby deceiving the public. Upon reaching Xianying, Hu Hai was crowned as the second emperor of Qin. Zhao Gao was appointed as an influential official, and Li Si retained his role as the prime minister. But it was clear that the real power now rested in the cunning hands of Zhao Gao. Not satisfied with just the crown's influence, Zhao Gao soon turned against his earlier ally, Li Si. Trapped in a web of treachery, Li Si attempted to expose Zhao Gao's schemes. But alas, instead of receiving support, he met a grim fate and was executed in Xianying. As for Zhao Gao, he rose to even greater heights, attaining a unique title due to his unrestricted access to the palace, central prime minister. But as history has shown us time and time again, power plays and treacheries often have a way of coming full circle. That brings us to the end of the life and times of Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of China, in this episode. Dear friends, if you find this tale enlightening and captivating, please give us a thumbs up. Bookmark our channel and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If this episode garners enough interest, I promise to dive deeper into the fascinating stories surrounding Qin Shi Huang in our next segment. Until then, see you next time.